Launch code. Access granted. A millionaire.
Hello, welcome to GED exam preparation class. I am your host and instructor, Ruben Herrera. And on this lesson, my friends, we are going to learn how to measure the area of some polygons, okay? So let us get started. Let me start by first defining what area is. Okay, so area can be defined as the space occupied by a flat shape or the surface of an object. Area is measured in square units. Okay, very good. Now, there are many formulas that we can use to measure the area of polygons. However, on this lesson, what I want to do, I want to explain or I want to demonstrate the fundamentals or the basics of measuring the area for most basic polygons. Okay, so pretty much on the area, my friends, what we have to do in order for us to measure the area of a polygon, we need to always multiply that length times the width. Okay, back in my times we used to call that base times height. Okay, so what we have to pretty much, we have to measure, or we have to actually, well, multiply the measurements of this side right here, this base, and then this height right here. So, and this as a result will give us the measurement of all this surface in here. Very nice. Construction people or remodelers people or contractors that use the area or they measure the area all the time whenever they want to lay floor, carpet, or tile. And they actually get pretty good at doing this. Okay, so let us go ahead and look at some examples. Okay, now for example, I have this square right here and I want to measure the area. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to multiply this 5 value in here times this value in here. This is the base right here, and this is my height, or you can also call this the length, and the width is right here. Whichever side you want to call it, it doesn't really matter at this point because the order of which we're going to multiply this will not alter our results. So I'm going to multiply 5 times 5. That's going to be equals to 25, and therefore our area is going to be equals to 25 square. Now remember earlier, my friends, I mentioned that the area is always measured on square units. Um, so this is why every time we write our answer for the area, it always has to be accompanied by a 2. Okay, because area is measured on square units. Okay, so always never forget to write your 2 because otherwise your answer is going to be wrong. Okay, let us look at our next example. I have right here now a rectangle and I have my base number in here and I have my height number in here. I'm going to multiply these two. That's going to be equals to 5 times 8 is equals to 40. Okay, and therefore the area of this rectangle is going to be 40 square. Okay, never forget to write that little 2, my friends. You see, this is very easy. So pretty much the fundamentals or the main idea of measuring the area of polygons, or most polygons anyways, is just by multiplying these two numbers, the length and the width, and also the base times the height, whichever way is easier for you to understand this. Let us look at now at the triangle. The triangle is just a little bit different. Notice that now we have a number right here that is measuring the distance from this point right here to this point right here. And this is the height of the triangle, my friends, not the side, which will be a different measurement. So we need to multiply these two and then divide this by 2. Divide our result of the multiplication of 6 times 5 or 5 times 6 by 2 at the end. Okay, so that we can get the area of the triangle, and we only do this with all triangles. So for example, we're going to multiply 5 times 6 and then we're going to divide it by 2. 5 times 6 is equals to 30, divided by 2 is going to be equals to 15, and therefore the area of this triangle is going to be 15 square. And some students always ask me, hey Rubens, why with the triangle you always have to divide it by 2? Okay, my friends, the reason is because in theory, if we're only multiplying 5 times 6, we actually get in the area of all this area in here. Notice that depending on how you're looking at it, this can be a parallelogram or a rectangle. So we are actually measuring twice the area. So this is why at the end we need to divide it by 2. And only with the triangles, my friends. Okay, very nice. Let us look at our next example. I have right here now a parallelogram. With the parallelogram, we go back to the same rule. We're just going to multiply the base times the height. Okay, and that's going to be equals to 5 times 6 is equals to 30. And therefore, the area of this parallelogram is 30 square. Okay, my friends, when it comes to the trapezoid, um, with the trapezoid, there is a formula that we must follow in order to measure the area for the trapezoid. And this formula goes like this. Okay, we have that the area of the trapezoid is equals to the height that is going to multiply the sum of the base 1 and base 2, and then we're going to divide this result by 2. Okay, so let us go ahead and substitute. I'm going to go ahead and dissect the problem and the process of solving this formula for the trapezoid here. Okay, so the first step, the first thing that I'm going to do is that I'm going to substitute my variables right here of my formula for my numbers. So it's going to look something like this. Notice right here that my height is equals to 4, which is this 4 right here. This is my height. Okay, and then the base 1 right here, my base 1 is always going to be usually this number right here at the bottom base, which is 5 is right here. My base 2 is actually going to be my base or my number at the top, okay, which is 3 right here, and then I'm going to divide it by 2. Okay, now my next step following the order of operations will be to first do what's inside of the parentheses. Therefore, I'm going to add the 5 and the 3. And 5 plus 3 is equals to 8. Okay, my next step, I'm going to now multiply that 4 times the 8, okay, before I divide it by 2, because in the order of operations, multiplication and division, we perform that from left to right on whichever order, whichever operation comes first. So I'm going to do the 4 times 8 first, and that's going to be equals to 32, and then I'm going to divide it by 2 once I get my result. And that's my result is going to be 32 divided by 2 is going to be equals to 16. So therefore the area for this parallelogram, I'm sorry, this trapezoid is equals to 16 square. Okay, thank you, my friends. Thank you very much for being on this lesson. I hope that you enjoy it and have a great day.
Launch code. Access granted.